50 cents, 75 cents, close to it. Let me see what the actual pivot level was. The pivot level that I put in Discord was 140.85, and we went to a high price of 141.86. Dollar move on Amazon from the pivot level. Still pushing up towards those highs. Ultimately has room to 142.30s. Your ATR on a 5-minute chart on Amazon is 30 cents. So if you start to get 30 cents, you start to get 60 cents. That's a 2R trade. That's the way that I look at my take profits. Obviously, the bigger the stock, the bigger the move. Something like NVIDIA's average to range is 96 cents. So you start getting over $1 on something like NVIDIA, something like Tesla. You get $2. Time to start taking some profits. Meta off support. Also, guys, Apple took out yesterday's highs. I don't know if anyone jumped on the Apple over pre-market highs, yesterday's highs. We had that pivot level I put in 179.43, currently trading at 179.84. 1 hour ATR is around 69 cents. Keep that in mind. It's not Tesla, it's not NVIDIA. Take your 50 cents. Be happy with the trade. NASDAQ trying to set up a 2-minute setup here. Has a little bit of resistance at 282.
Order submitted.
Beautiful move on Amazon, guys. It's back up to 141.90s.
Entering a long position at 268. Is that a bad call?
268 is what level? What's 268?
On the NQ,
I see it.
20 SMA confirmation.
268 to 280. And then over 80, it needs to clear out 87. So you need to see it break 87 after that one. And then it has to put in a high and confirm that high over 87.
Yeah.
Tesla's broken its pre-market lows. Room to 214.75 if it keeps continuing to confirm here. Again, Tesla is one of the only stocks that I've come across today that's going in the opposite direction. So just keep that in mind as well. If you want to wait till the first hour highs get confirmed, our first hour lows get confirmed, that might be a little bit of a safer play. Right now, that pivot level is 216.12. So we have a new hour candle starting in 13 minutes. Now, if Tesla is to break the 216.12 and you do decide to take that short position, just understand we can stop at any point into 214.75. So treat it as a scalp. A little bit of a riskier trade there. Got the Nasdaq hanging around that 20 SMA on the 2-minute chart here, kind of battling back and forth. So far for me, the bulls are still getting the benefit of the doubt to see if they can hold into support here.
So since that candle closed, like that 268 level, is it not valid anymore?
We haven't closed below the 20 SMA, so technically it's still valid.
Okay.
There's just not a lot of space, though. Just understand that. Treat it as a scalp. 282, you're going to run into a little bit of resistance. Guys, Meta's taking out pre-market highs. Yesterday's highs on Meta are sitting at around 318.32. I'd like to see Meta break yesterday's highs. There's that push into the 75s. Looking for something with an 8-0 on it on the NQ. Doesn't have to get there. We're running right into 2-minute supply there on the NQ. There's 82s hit on the NQ, guys. Trying to break through 82s. Now over 80, since we've touched these 82s, we need to close or break 87s and then confirm that.
Order submitted.
NQ on the 1 hour chart is broken out from yesterday's highs as well as pre-market overnight levels. Broke out of that at 257. Daily chart looks bullish as well. Daily chart could really have a lot of room to stretch. Not saying, it has to go 200 points today, but it definitely has a lot of room to stretch going forward here. I personally would still like to see some type of pullback before we get a big push higher, just because it would create a little bit of a stronger move going forward. My pullback spot is like 15,100 area. Not saying that I'm thinking it's getting there today or anything, but like if we get that move before we get a huge run up on the Nasdaq, would be a lot healthier. So again, we'll just stick with today's trend here. Stick with the trend we've been on for the week. Just be prepared for that type of pullback. Don't think that you wake up one day and the market's down 150 points, that it's the end of the world. That's what we need.
It broke. Confirm.
Did you get in where you wanted to? 68s, 66? No.
No, I took that as a quick scalp. I got out. I took like 150 from that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a long time before this candle closes.
Order submitted.
Guys, Apple's absolutely exploding. If anyone took that pivot level, time to take a little profits off. Apple was a beautiful trade, up $1. Beautiful trade on Apple, guys.
Oof, look at that. Nice push.
Beautiful candle here on the NQ, guys. So we got that.
You're waiting for it.
Got that. Nope, it's already happened. Got that break over the high of day, which was the 87s. Closed over that. You should be in this long position if you are looking to scalp that high of day.
We haven't closed over the high day yet.
The 2-minute chart was closed over the high of day. All we need to do is break that level, close over it. If you're watching the 5-minute chart, then you got to watch the 5-minute chart. I'm watching the 2-minute.
Gotcha.
Order submitted.
Guys, if anyone is in the, probably not. If anyone is in the Amazon, take some gains at 142.20s, guys. 142.20s on Amazon. Pivot level was 140.85. Beautiful trade there.
On the 5 minute, my entry would be at 303.
Is that where we close over? I haven't looked. I'm looking at the hour, man.
Well, we would close. I mean, we're 17 seconds to closing. I just haven't closed yet.
If that's the high.
Yep.
If that's the high, yeah. Yeah, but technically we should have just been in. You should have just been in this thing since 288. The 72s was the first pivot, and then that got adjusted in pre-market to 15,288. So over 15,288 has just been a hold position on the NAS. So we are about 20 points over that initial pivot. So if you think about, you know, each point as a floor, you're about 20 points away from a 100-story building. All right, look at it like that. So NASDAQ can move up or down 100 points in a given session. Farther away from you get from your initial pivot long, that's how many flights of stairs you're jumping out of. So
yeah, I just took a quick scalp with 2 minis on that. I was down 340. I'm up 165 now.
There you go. That's the only thing with the minis, right? So you can make a lot, but if your initial entry is wrong, you're going to take a few $100 hit. So
yeah.
Make sure that when you're jumping into those scalps like that, we've got momentum. So like, I don't want to see things, oh, it's testing that level, it's kind of chopping around. It needs momentum. You need to see that fucking thing fly. Like if you just look at the price, it needs to be flying. 311, 312, 313. It needs to be flying. And then you can kind of jump in on that, and with your fill time getting in on that, you should be able to catch that little bit of a move on a scalp. Because if you get in, for example, like, you know, you get in like now on this first hour candle break, now you pull back 8-9 points. The move's not dead. It's just fucking too much size for that. So just make sure you got that momentum. You're really feeling it. Just look at the price, you know, really feel the price.
Yeah.
NASDAQ's got a lot of space to the top side for a continuation move today. Our pullback spots, right, to not get concerned about would be all the way down at 285, 287. That's your original breakout spot today from clearing out pre-market highs, opening a little 5-minute range highs there. That pullback needs to hold, and if it doesn't hold, then you're looking at like something like 271 to hold, right, for continuation to the upside. Then you can look for a long play off of those two areas to bounce. I like pullbacks finding support and then look for the new longs versus trying to, let's say, for example, we stop here and then we take out a new high, and then we take out a new high, and then we take out a new high, because now you're just chasing a continuation move. It's going to be one of those candles that's going to pull back on you and you're going to get stiffed, right? So momentum is bullish. Everyone just understand that. Momentum is bullish. Give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. Let them pull back. Don't look for these crazy short opportunities. You got way too much support down here. Look for the bounces instead. So where you're looking to short right now, you're looking to actually go long, right? So switch that mentality to where you think this might be a good short opportunity. It's probably not. It's probably a good bounce opportunity. So look for that bounce opportunity setup. If roles were reversed and the NQ was underneath daily supply, like the 50-day moving average, for example, then yes, maybe when we do pull back, you would be looking for those short position confirmations through the lows. Again, if you guys are out there scalping these moves to the downside, just understand that you can make money as it pulls into support, but there's going to be that one trade that's going to catch you and it's going to trap you. So you need to make up that decision to get out of that trade quickly unless you got momentum. So for example, right now on a 2-minute chart on the NQ, if we start to lose this 5 SMA, potentially we can come down to 87s, right? So you might have room 202 into 87s. Again, that's for experienced scalpers who have a good feel, right? You got to have a good feel. If you don't have a good feel and you're just trying to take your first winning trade, don't do that shit. You're better off just waiting for the bounces.
Yeah, you ought to keep your eyes on AMD right now.
How are we looking? Are we getting up to that level? There we are at that level, 112.90. I actually had that fucking pivot level at 113.40s, but I think that's yesterday's highs, but it's way too high. We could have actually jumped in at 112.59.
Yeah, that's where I got in.
Did you get in?
No, 2.
Beautiful, beautiful trade. So you can actually, what I would actually do in that type of situation, since you're in so early over like the 112.30s, 40s, I would actually take profits into yesterday's highs and hold a runner to see if we break and allow some support to kind of catch up. At some point in time, it will pull back. And it'll feel a lot better pulling back when you've locked in profits and your contract is still green versus giving away all of those profits. Again, as you play more size and you get more comfortable with the moves, those 2 contracts will go to 4 and 4 will go to 8. And initial profits you're going to take is going to feel a lot better. But that's personally how I would play it. I should have actually got in on that. But 112. What are we looking at here? Guys, at Apple's a fantastic trade. 180.55 from a pivot level of 179.43, up over $1, over $1.30 at its high point. Again, trading a little baby stock like Apple, your 1 hour ATR is only 71 cents. So that's a 2-hour trade, right? Think about it in those type of situations, right? If Apple only moves 71 cents average on an hour and you just got over $1 on that move, you got a sufficient move. So if you're still holding a stock like Apple, a stock like Amazon, a stock like AMD over its 1 hour ATR, then realistically, you're not really looking for a scalp anymore. You're looking for like a longer day trade where you're trying to squeeze more out of it, right? So that's how I judge and gauge my take profits, right? That's what feels good to me. I know that if I can get somewhere around that ATR or double that ATR, whether it's a 5-minute or a 1 hour chart, I'm pretty good at that. And then I just adjust my sizing after that. AMD supports 112.67, 112.23, and 112. All of those areas can still hold. The market can still shoot higher. Right now, we just basically came almost to that pivot point of yesterday. Shy about 20 cents from that, pulled right back into our little breakout spot over our linear regression here at 112.60s.
Yeah, I sold one. I've got one left.
Okay. Same thing with the NAS guys. We put in that, we broke those highs, those 87s, 88s. That was the original pivot level from this morning in the Discord. Broke the 87s, went to 15,320, have pulled right back into that area here. So we got support on a 2-minute chart at 272 as well as 284. I'd look for those two areas to hold if the bulls are going to be strong. Now, if we start to close below 272, we might have a little bit of an area of opportunity to scalp to the downside. Again, you're going against the week's trend. So think about it as a scalp, right? It doesn't have to go down. It's just you're trying to find an area of opportunity and see if your risk is worth it.
No.
That 215.92 is the new day's low on Tesla. Has room to 214.74. Again, experienced scalpers only on that move. I really wouldn't want someone who's trying to build an account on something like that with that small of a range.
Have a good one on both.
How does you fix these?
Happy I go. Right back in. You fix the leak in the kitchen? You show him that it was coming out from underneath?
Yeah, I took all the cleaning stuff out and did something.
Up $60. Came back from down 400.
AMD guys back up into those 113s, 113.30s right now.
So what are we realistically targeting on this AMD then? Because I mean, obviously we're breaking out right now.
So right now, AMD has room on a daily chart. This is also a daily chart breakout here. I'm going to post this chart just so we can see it. We've got this rising Bollinger Band sitting up here at around 115. So I'd look for a push over the 113s, let's say into 114. If it can get to 114, 114 and a half, I would probably take my profits off of that. This is your daily pivot here over 113.40s. That's taking out a 2-day consolidation. Ultimately, AMD would have room all the way up to 118. So like, let's say someone was going to swing this, as long as we stay over a previous day's low, you would stay in this trade for a swing. So being that we're day trading this, we're only looking for those short-term interval moves. So over 113.40s, I would try to target at least another 60 cents bare minimum into this upper Bollinger Band here at around 115, I'd say. Right, so if we can get over 114, there's potential to 115. It just depends on the strength of market and how we're doing. Now, obviously, if the market starts pulling back and wants to back test today, all bets are off, right? If this was 30 minutes into the close, for me, AMD would be a full-on swing into tomorrow for a potential gap up into 115. So depends on where AMD closes today. I'm gonna post this chart just so we can kind of see that view. Yeah, so on this trade, I mean, if you can get 114 out of it, that'd be fucking great. I don't know if it's gonna do it, but it would be fucking nice. The daily chart looks money. If you just look at the last 3 days, I just posted that chart up, and this is actually over. This is over a lot of consolidation going all the way back to August. So on the 3rd of November, we actually broke out of that consolidation going back to August. We've consolidated for 2 days here. That next leg up, you're definitely going to want to be involved in. Whether that's this current trade that manages to stay up here and we're able to just be in it from a very sweet spot, or it's tomorrow. But whenever this leg happens, that's the leg you're going to want to be in, because that's going to be your money-making leg.
Are you talking about the NQ?
I'm talking about AMD, but the NQ is the same as well. It's just the N. It's just the only problem I have with a lot of these longs is I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days straight up. The faster you go up in a straight line, the bigger the pullback's going to be. Doesn't mean that we're going back down to the lows. It's just the bigger the pullback's going to be. Like, technically, I can see the NASDAQ pulling back into 14,900, which is about 300 points away. People are going to be panicked. Oh, that's the top. You should have shorted. They're going to get fucking trapped. It's going to trickle around there and then scream through these upsides. From here, the NASDAQ has room into 15,400s. Options for a person who asked on YouTube. We're trading options on AMD. Again, and we're also day trading here. We're also scalping. So depending on if you are holding equities or you're looking for a swing trade, right now, as long as AMD remains over previous day's highs and stays over the 5-day moving average, it's a swing into those upper levels that I was talking about, 115, 118. So it just depends on how you're looking to play it.
So as of right now, we just need to get past 319 on the NQ, right? Close above it.
As far as what? So you're playing continuation is what you're like. Over 320 is just continuation. So the move has already happened, right? The move has already broken out. So basically this is just continuation. It's not like, every time you break a high of day and then pull back, it's not like that's a fresh setup. It's just a continuation of the setup that's already going on. So the original move was over 288. Back right here, we're literally where we're at. So we've broken out, we've retested. Do we hold? And then if we push through 320 again, yes, you can take a continuation through to 320. Or you can take a little bit of a less risk type of trade through the previous 5-minute high, which is 297, and your stop loss would be like 285 or 275. Yeah, I mean, if you get into chart patterns and bullshit like that, like I don't really, but this would be if our pivot level was 286, 287, we broke out, we put in a high, we've pulled back. So just a break, retest. People like to buy these break and retest because it's a little bit of a less risk entry. And then your second entry is over 320. It depends on the for YouTube chat. It depends on what day of the week it is, right? And what I'm playing. So my normal position sizing is 10 contracts on Tesla and Nvidia. On something like AMD, because they're a little bit cheaper and the moves are a little bit smaller, I go 15. I'll take 15 of them. Mm-hmm. This is all dependent on your account size, chat. All dependent on your account size, right? So, you know, if you're playing a couple of cons, let's see. I mean, this is the way that I treat my day trades and my scalps. If I start getting 25, 35, 40 cents on my contracts on a stock like Apple, AMD, something like that, I normally tend to take profits. 25 cents, 35 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents I would consider a home run trade because of the fact that I play 10 plus contracts on something like Amazon, Apple, AMD, those type of stocks. So for me, I just times it times 10. I get 25 cents, that's $200. 35 cents, $300, obviously, right? It's the math. On something like Tesla, I'm looking for 50 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents on 10 contracts. So those average trades are, you know, 500, 400, 600, 700, sometimes 1,000. It just depends if that contract bumps up $1. Now, I'm never really a person who kind of holds trades longs. I like, you know, for hours and hours on end, unless it's a runner. Like, let's say, for example, right now on Amazon, I still have a runner. So I had 15 contracts. I'm down to 2. Those are just running contracts. I'm just going to let those go all day as long as they stay profitable. And they might get a bump later on in the day or whatever. AMD, guys, 113.61. So AMD 113.61s. I believe, I'm just looking at my side view chart here on the watch list. That is a new high, right? Yeah, so 113.70s, guys. 113.76 is new high on AMD. We're running over the previous 2 days consolidation on AMD. Technically speaking here, if you're looking for that longer trade, AMD's got room to 115, guys. I'm not saying that it's going there today, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going there today. However, that's the next price target on AMD is 115. Depending on where you're in at today, or if you traded it today, might be good to take a little profits off depending on where you got in on, you know. So in YouTube chat, we have a guy, myself, I'm also in this trade as well, but we do have a guy who is in here in the 112. So, you know, depending on at the high peak, for that case in point, could have been up 70 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, $1, maybe, depending on fill times and whatnot. But the most perfect entry that I could have seen on AMD today was around 112.40s. 112.40s. If you're in earlier than that, then you got a even better fucking entry. But 112.40s I could live with, right? 112.40s, 112.50s I could live with. And if you think about where we went from the 112.50s, let's say 112.5, it went all the way up to 113.76. That's a fucking fantastic move on a stock like AMD. If you're looking for a day trade, right? If you're looking for a day trade. Rising 5-minute support on AMD is 113.16, and then your 112.69. Continuation on the NASDAQ is still over 15,320. We came just shy of that on this current 5-minute candle. So if we do get another continuation here, we do have Bollinger Band supply right here on a 5-minute. Bollinger Band supply on a 5-minute. But if it does get over that at some point today, you could see the next continuation leg higher on the NASDAQ. Also, for those of you guys who are playing options, and you're playing smaller size, you're getting familiar with it, you're growing your account, this, that, and the other. If you're up $20 or you're up $25, right? Times that times 10, because there's
Order
going
submitted.
to be a day where you're going to get to 10 contracts. That's got to be the goal, right? That's got to be the goal. 10 contracts makes math easy. The risk on certain days, if you're not playing like Nvidia or Tesla, when premiums are juiced, the risk is fairly relatively small. For something like on AMD, maybe 10, 15 contracts could be like $2,000, $2,500, right? So in that particular situation, you're in for 2,000, 3,000 in between that range. You make a quick 500, $600, contracts are up 20, 30, 40 cents. That's a hell of a move. Guys, the market's been open 1 hour and you made $400 or $500. So if you're trading,
Order submitted.
if you're trading, 1, 2 contracts, and let's say you're up $30, don't look at it as being up $30. It's $300. So how would your mindset reflect on $300 trade in 30 minutes and 45 minutes, or a $400 trade, or a $250 trade, right? That's how you have to think about it. And that's the goal. That's the goal for everyone. 10 contracts. The faster you can get comfortable identifying these moves, the faster you can get comfortable with the movement, the faster you're going to get 10 contracts, right? You don't need fucking $30,000, $100,000 in your account to trade 10 cons. Now, if you got $2,000 in your account and you're trying to play 10 contracts, well, you're gonna need to hit some trades to kind of grow that a little bit, so you can build a little bit of a cushion. So the Nasdaq broke the 320s, guys, ran right into the upper Bollinger Band on a 5-minute chart at 325.75. Support on the Nas is 304. Be right back, guys. Let me get some water. Guys, if anyone took the 320, 15 320 continuation on the NQ, it's up 46 points. That's 25 points on that move from the original spot of 86. Also, if you guys took the last 20 play on the NQ, gave you an entry at around 6:50 my time, Pacific Standard Time, at around 268. So from 268 to 250, guys, this is a 90-point move. If you haven't made money on the NQ going to the long side, it's time to start questioning your position sizing and what you're actually doing. Guys, 114's incoming on that AMD. 114's incoming on that AMD. Current continuation from 320 to 52 is up 30 points, guys. 32, 33 points. It's a hell of a fucking move. It's a hell of a move, guys. Wow. This is a hell of a move. Was anyone able to capture any of this on the NQ long? This is a great move here, guys.
Yeah, I've got 2 micros on NQ long up 150 right now.
Beautiful. From what entry price around about? Where'd you get in at? I want to take one.
Yeah, probably like 286 maybe, something like that.
Okay.
What do we maybe like up to 389, the linear regression?
Yeah. But I mean, shit, if you're in from 286, dude, that my trade would be done on that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was in on that, and then when we broke the 320s on that first 725 candle for me PSD, I was selling into like the 29s, 30s. So I've been out for like 30 points just because I was in at the, I was in like 30 points prior to that. So
You should sell one and keep the other one running.
yeah, you can definitely.
Yeah,
I
I
would
could do that.
definitely sell
You
one.
learn
Definitely sell
yeah.
one, for sure. You want to lock that in, and I would also move your stop loss in to take profit. So let's find a support here that we could pull back into. You said you're in at what price? 280.
To around 286, 287.
Okay, I would definitely set my stop loss like at 15,300.
Shoot, I would do 15,322. That's the 5
Yeah,
SMA.
you can do that too. I'd just like to see another 5 minute candle close so that bumps up a little bit, Even 15,320, that was a continuation play. 15,320. Then that still locks in 40 points on that remaining contract for sure. Round about 30 points or so.
Yeah, I've just kind of been like waiting for it to give me a reason to sell. It's like it just keeps going.
Yeah, I know. So if we do pull back, I would expect to pull back into the 30s. So if you're comfortable giving up 20 points, that would be, that's what you're gonna have to stomach through, is a 20-point pull back into this rising 5 SMA. If I go, maybe let's look at a 2-minute chart. We've got pullback spot into 242 and then 227. So maybe any close below like 340, I'd want to get out.
But dude, congratulations! What a great move, man.
Hell
Way
yeah.
to stick it in there.
Yeah, good job, man. You had more fucking balls than I did. I definitely did not hold that long. Yeah, so here's on a 2-minute chart, right? Again, just a 2-minute chart. A little bit of a pause candle on this last 2-minute. We're coming right into this 5 SMA here. Supports at around 346.89. I would say that if it starts to close below 346, there's a good opportunity, a good shot that it tries to test the 30s again, which would be a strong move. It would be a higher low, a little bit of a bounce spot there. But again, you're giving away 20 some plus points of profit. So on YouTube, Snake Trader, you took a couple of longs on the NQ. So that's the difference between, I don't know how much size you're playing, but that comes down to just emotions, because technically, even on a 2-minute chart, this thing is broken. This thing's been power trending over its 5 SMA for the past, I don't know, 35 minutes. Hasn't even closed below the 5 SMA. So there was really no reason to sell in the past 30 to 35 minutes. You just have to hold it, right? Just trust the trend. Just allow it to ride. I use the 5 SMA as my power trend. So on any time frame, it doesn't matter what time frame we're looking at, whether it's the daily chart or the 2-minute chart or the 1-minute chart, the 5 SMA for me is our power trend, right? The 10 SMA is definitely the firmer support. But I mean, if something is just power trending over its 5, you gotta hold it. You gotta hold it until we close underneath that 5. You can definitely keep inching your stop loss up every candle if you'd like to trail it like that manually. But I mean, this is a fantastic move here.
He's just gonna follow this Bollinger and 5 SMA to the end of the day.
Yeah, if you can get into the 380s, that would ultimately be like if someone was to, if you were wondering, well, where potentially could we go? I mean, 380s, 390s. If this thing keeps going.
On the 1 day chart right now, as long as we close in 7 minutes above, what is this? 319, and where it looks open for me at least till the previous high, which was 15,469. But you might be seeing something else. That's just what I see.
Yeah, definitely on the macro view, you do have room. Yeah, we've got nothing but open skies on a daily chart. It doesn't even get hairy until we get into the 450s, 460s. But I'm just talking about like for this actual move here, like for this move that he's in on. Yeah, I mean, if this thing was to push into the 80s, that'd probably be a fucking hell of a spot to take profits just because you don't want to give back 30, 40 points off of that. But yeah, I mean, for just going forward this week, yeah, we've got a lot of space higher, at least another 100 to 150 points higher before we run into anything significant. I'm just talking about for this current trade that he's in.
Yeah. You should keep his eye on the 2 minutes too, just to make sure it doesn't break that 5 SMA.
Yeah. For everyone who's on the sidelines right now wondering where to get in, and don't have a piece of this, like myself, you're just fucked. Sorry. This train is gone.
Fuck that, full send, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can YOLO into something here and see if you catch a few points on this on the continuation, but I mean, it's just risky. But look at it go. I mean, 63, that's 43 points even from that continuation at the 320. Damn. Nice move. AMD in the 80s, guys, 113.80s. I don't know if anyone's still got a piece of that.
Yeah, I got one on AMD.
$65 new high.
Yeah, we got to break this current level, and then we have room up to 470. Or I would say 442.
It also becomes a spot of how greedy are you, right? How greedy are you? Because you could also just, I don't know, depends on the position size. Obviously, I mean, one contract is you're not going to give back too much on a pullback, but still. Because I always look at things on how I trade options, and it's like for me, if I was on this options play and I was still holding a move that looked like this candlestick, I would just fucking wash it, to be honest, and be done with the day. No more stress, no more looking for trades, no more nothing. Just I won the day today. I'm out of here. Getting a little tired right here on a 2-minute chart. I'm just watching this 2-minute chart for everybody. It's getting a little tired here. 57 is your 5, and then 46 is your 10. But this candlestick is getting a little tired.
Could it be that reversal candle?
Maybe. I mean, you could play it into the 10. But
I'm up 240 on the day. I don't need to do anything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, market's been open like it's only been open an hour. Yeah. This is a 2-minute reversal candle here, guys. If unless it's just a pause. But again, if we start to lose a previous 2 minute without taking out the high, then 51 is your support.
All right, I just took my one off for like 110 on one micro.
There you go.
You've had them both this whole time?
Yeah.
My guy. So what was that range? What did you get that range on for that one?
He was in from the 80s, no?
Yeah, like 287 up
Yeah.
to whatever it's at now.
Yeah.
You weren't too far from a full 100-point range, dude.
Yeah, that's a great trade. It's a hell of a trade.
Yeah, even the 5-minute candle's looking a little weak.
So as we come back up to 114 here on AMD, I mean, just selling that one may be a good idea, you think?
Yeah, I mean you're in the 112 and a halves.
Yeah, I'm up
Yeah.
$90 on one.
Yeah, I would take one for sure, dude. Because let's say the market rests for an hour, right, and just kind of goes sideways and then kind of drifts and it comes back. Those contracts, I mean, you don't want to give up half of it. You don't want to take a $200 trade down to like a $80 trade, is what I'm saying. Because it's a great move already, right? It's a great move. If you had 10 contracts, you're up $1,000 on that thing. And even if you had 5, you're up close to $500.
Yep, there's the resistance.
Guys, I just got out of my Amazons. New high on the NQ. Not by much, just new high. Jeez. This thing's probably going to stretch into the 80s, guys. Something with an 80 in front of it before it has any type of pullback at all. I mean, between 70 and 94 here, I would expect it to slow down a little bit as far as like the strength of this move. But I mean, this is a fucking fantastic breakout. Those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, we had an initial setup that came somewhere at around 6:50 Pacific Standard Time, somewhere in those 80s, and then we had a continuation breakout here over the first hour highs at 320. So we're talking about literally up 100 points from the initial move and 70 points from the continuation. Right? So I mean, you got to think about it when these things go, they go, right? So when you're on the right, and like this is what I'm not saying that every move should feel like this, but like when the market is moving fluid, these are how pivots work. So when you don't get these type of moves, and I'm not saying it has to go 70 points, so don't think that you're going to get 70 points on every trade, but like when they don't, you get in and it's not going up 10 points, 15 points, back test, 20 points, back test, 30 points. When it's not moving fluid and it's like you're getting into that play and then it's like the next candle kind of stops you out and chops you up and goes all the way back down to the bottom range, that's not a trending day. Because once you get to a point where you can identify these type of days and this feeling of looking at these plays like this, once you have enough of these days, you can wash those days that are choppy, right? And what happens is a lot of people who are not consistent, 74, 75s on the NQ, guys, when you get those days that are choppy where you're getting a setup and you're getting stopped out, and you take a short setup and it gets stopped out and you go back long, those are days where newer traders or people who are still trying to get consistent, where they screw themselves all up because they start forcing days, and then guess what happens? You blow your account up, you don't have enough buying power, you fuck your mental up to where when you do have a day like this, you miss it. Right? You miss it. I'm going to go back and recap and hammer everyone's ass in my room personally. Like, if you were not long today on pretty much probably anything, well, the question's why? Like, why not? Unless you had something to do, unless you're at work where you weren't even at the screens, right? But if you were looking at today and you did not go long over a first hour high, over a 5-minute 20 SMA setup, the question is why? And more than likely it's because, well, I didn't think that the market was going to be able to go up because last time I took this trade and I wanted to see it get to here. It's like, you're thinking too much. You're thinking way too much. The setup's going to work or it's not, right? There's no middle ground here. It works or it doesn't. If it doesn't work, you just get out of the trade. Oh, well. Because if you stick around long enough, you get these days like this where you can make a day's P&L, in an hour. You can make a week's P&L, depending on your position size, in an hour. Currently at 77s here, guys, on the NQ. I would definitely think, I don't know if anyone in the chat is long at all, or you guys have just been watching, the greatest show on turf here, but I would definitely think about taking your profits, right? I mean, the closer we get into these 80s and 90s, I would think about taking profit. Even on a 5-minute view, we've been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive green candles to the upside. This is a great move here. If you get this push, we're already in the 80s. If you can get this push to full potential here at like 91, that's the home run trade. That's a home run trade, because that's getting in at a technical area of a pivot point, right? A technical area of a continuation and holding it to full potential, right? What's full potential? When we break one area of supply and we move right into the next area of supply. This is on a 5-minute time frame. Again, not the daily, not the 1 hour. I'm not looking at those. The daily chart's got a lot of room higher, but there's going to be a pullback before we go higher. On a 5-minute time frame, this is getting in. If you got in anywhere around 320 or before that, or 325, this is a perfect trade of taking a trade from supply to supply. Okay, if we were shorting, it would be from demand to demand. This is a perfect trade. Home run. Home run. AMD, guys, 114.28 there. If anyone's in on that. I'm going to sell half size on these AMDs.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. It was great trading with y'all. Hopefully, we can get another beautiful day tomorrow.
All right, man. In YouTube chat, are you in on AMD now? And if you are, what price did you get in at? I mean, the AMD chart on the 5-minute, and has room. Those 114.70s, 114.50s is supply. So it keeps pushing this Bollinger Band higher and pulls right back into the 5 SMA, which is at 114. But I mean, fuck, our original move. I mean, shit, we have a trader who's in here at 112.50s, 112.60s, so he's up $2 on the move. I mean, that's a fantastic one contract. But at what price though? Like, when did you grab it? Because here's a problem that I don't hope that you guys are not doing: watching AMD go higher and you're sitting here at like 114, right? Like, this is not the spot where you want to be starting a long position. I would hope you guys are in closer to 113, 112. If anything, I mean, I had previous days pivot at 113.40s, right? So and if you got in somewhere over 113.40s, that's the true spot you want to get into, because your pullback spot is going to be 113.40s, right? So if you broke out, you're in the Qs, you're in Qs options, or you're in NASDAQ futures. NASDAQ, the Qs options, depending on where you got in, it's the same thing as the NQ chart. You're right here at the supply. The charts are the same. So NQ, or the triple Q is 373. I mean, I would be taking profits here. Like this is it, right? You know? Yeah. So okay. So what was the QQQ price when you got in? Because for me, right? For me, there was two plays here. Getting in on the first entry off the flush was 370s, right? 370.12s. Now, if you weren't in on that play, then you should have been in getting in at 371.35s, 371.40s, 371.50s. I mean, you should have been in this play for at least the last 20 minutes. At least the last 20 minutes. Coming right into supply here at 373.20. So you're in at 371. I would sell. 100% sell. I'm not telling you, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude who fucking trades futures and options. But I would sell, because I'll tell you what, I got buddies who are selling right here. Or I got buddies who are selling right here at 373. And I'm not talking about people playing one contract. Big size. I mean, look at the 1 hour candle, right? I mean, look at the 1 hour candle. That 371 breakout is up $2.25. I mean, even if you grabbed one contract, I'm curious to know, what did that one contract move for you? At least $1, right? The contract had to have bumped $1. I've been trading options long enough to know that. I have a feeling everyone in the room fucking overslept today and missed out on a fantastic day. Yeah, right into supply, pulling back here now. Triple Q support is 372.60s. So don't really know if you want to give up 50 cents on this pullback to see if it continues. But again, if I was in that trade, I would be taking profits. Same thing on our NQ. Did you unload that NQ, or are you still holding? Everything's coming into supply here on the NQ. 15-minute came right into the linear regression. 5-minute plowed right into the linear regression. 2-minute plowed right into the linear regression. 1 hour is a breakaway, a runaway train. Hourly charts, a runaway train, but coming into those mid-October highs here, so it could stop at any point in time. The weekly chart is a confirmation breakout this week, obviously coming into resistance at 461. So here's the thing with that, snake trader. Here's the thing with that. If you've made money today, and like you said, like you're done on the day, I personally wouldn't even look at the charts anymore. Because what's going to happen is you're going to find something that looks great, and let's say it doesn't work, and you get back profits. it's going to cause you to overtrade. So typically for me on days like this, I slammed Amazon, Apple, and AMD. Okay. I'm not even looking, I haven't even really looked at those charts anymore. Like I haven't even gone back to Apple. Why? Because if I see a new setup on Apple, I'm going to get upset that I didn't take it, or I'm going to be mad at myself for not still being in the trade, right? So Apple's trading at 181. And I got out of Apple a long time ago, but what you would be looking for now is the 1 hour time frame, and you would be looking for pullbacks into rising hourly support. Here's the thing why I don't think that that's going to happen right this second. Our hourly support on Apple is all the way down at 179. We're trading at 181, right? If we look at AMD, your rising hourly support that you would need to pull back to is sitting at 112.15. That's below the initial pivot level of today. So we are so high up here, right? You have 113.75 as a pullback spot on AMD. But again, you're talking about almost a dollar move down that you would have to wait for and then see if it continues to work to the upside. The majority of the moves and the ranges were fantastic today, but like just to answer your question in short, what do I look for? Pullbacks into rising hourly support. Pullbacks into rising hourly support. So it depends on where those hourly supports are at, right? You know, normally I'll look to the 5 SMA or the 10 SMA for rising hourly supports. But as of right now, these are just all runaway trains. It's you know, they're just current long holds, right? If you want to tighten it up, I mean, I guess you could use a 5-minute time frame, and I'd probably use the 10 or the 20 for pullback spots. 10 SMA, the 20 SMA for pullback spots. So, you know, we've been talking about AMD a lot here. I would be looking maybe for a pullback 113.97 or 113.10 on AMD for a pullback to bounce it. But I mean, I'm not bouncing shit today, I'll tell you that much. Nice trade. Nice trade. Because you got to look at that times 10, right? Look at that amount times 10. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal. It's always times 10, right? 10 contracts is barely getting your foot in the door. Because how many shares of quote unquote do you control with one options contract? 100 share lot, right? So the way I was taught many years ago is you're not even considered a one lot trader until you have 1,000 lots or 1,000 shares. That's one lot, right? When you're talking real trading, a one lot trade is 1,000 shares. It's not 100. It's 1,000. So from where I came from 8 years ago to now, obviously when I started, I didn't have enough money to go out and trade 1,000 shares, right? So I started off trading 10 shares, 50 shares, one lot, which is 100 shares. I would start off trading like that. But when you look at it on the big scale, you know, the big players, your big players, people who are actually making money, like good money, they're trading, you know, 1,000 share lots, right? So how could I get to 1,000 share lots without putting up 1,000 share lot money? That's trading options, right? So if I can control 1,000 shares on 10 options contracts, that's why I'm comfortable with that 1,000, with that 10 lots. That's always stuck out to me ever since I was taught how to trade. Was if you want to make any money, you got to trade 1,000 share lots. I'm like, well, you know, I don't got 1,000 share lot money, so how can I do that? And you know, 6 years later, I'm trading 10 contracts still. Because the math is always easy for me like that. You know, math is easy. Buy a contract for $100, right? I'm just using an example. Buy a contract for $100. The thing moves up 25 cents, I made $250. Moves up 50 cents, I made $500. That's easy math for me. That's very easy math for me. And I'm comfortable with that, right? I'm comfortable with that. because I was also told $500 a day will keep the day job away, right? I know you guys have probably heard something along those lines, but at the time, I would just look at what's realistic, right? Yeah, I'm not saying doctors. I'm not saying if you have some trade that took you a long time to kind of master. Of course, money is different, but everyone's pockets are different depending on what you're doing. But the thing is that if you just take the average salary, right? The average salary, and what is that person making a day? I don't know, $200, $150, $250, I don't know, $300. So if you can make around that trading on one trade, you got to call it quits. And then just let time compound after that. Just let time compound after that. Yeah, you're not going to hit the $1,000 trade. You're not going to have the $10,000 a month right now. But there's no telling that you can't do that in 6 months, in 12 months from now, if you let time compound, right? Everyone wants to go out there and make a shit ton of money when you don't have the account size to make a shit ton of money. And if you can make a lot of money, or what's considered to you a lot of money on a small account, it's not because you're a great trader. It's because you're in a market that provided a very easy opportunity to make that. Now go do that for the next 6 months. I one time talked to somebody who came into my room personally, and they said, I got a $2,000 account. I said, how much do you want to make? Well, they said, well, I make $6,000 at my job right now. It's going to be very tough to make $6,000 month over month on a $2,000 account. You don't have a lot of wiggle room there. You don't have a lot of wiggle room. If you were trading on, like, let's say a $25,000 account, $50,000 account, then making $6,000 on that size account can be very relatively easy. But the more you try to push it, the more stress you put yourself underneath. And you push yourself to take more trades, and you push yourself to put on bigger size to make that fictitious amount that you have made up in your head. And what tends to happen is you win 1 or 2 trades, it gives you a false sense of security that you can do that all the time. And you can't do that all the time. And you end up taking a big loss on that account that sets you back months, right? Sets you back months. You have a $2,000 account and you go and you over leverage yourself on 10 contracts off the bat before you know what you're doing. And you take a 50% hit, 60% hit on those contracts, your $2,000 goes down to $1,200 very quickly. You can only afford to do that a couple of times before you're out of the game. So in the beginning, it's about playing the 1 contract, the 2 contracts, making $50, making $100, right? And stopping. The problem is that people have a problem stopping. You can't stop trading. I'm just going to use you as an example, or I know you just said I think you said you had to run, but there's a person in YouTube who made $52 today. I don't know their account size from shit. I don't know them from anything, but I'll just use, let's say, for example, they have maybe a smaller size account, right? Maybe they have a $100,000 account. I don't know. But let's just say they have a small account. They made $52 today. The normal person, the normal retailer wants to tell themselves, the market's hot today. I can find something else. And guess what happens? That next trade you take, you get fucking clipped for $100. So not only did you give away your 50 that you were so happy about, you just lost $50. And it puts you in a bigger fucking hole. So in the beginning, when you make, I don't care if it's $20, right? I've told people, make $20 and do it for the next 300 fucking days and see where you stand in 12 months. Because then you can increase your size and the $20 becomes $40, $40 becomes $80, $80 becomes $150, and it gradually increases. Your profits don't increase because one day you say, well, the market's great, so I'm going to go buy 10 contracts today because, everyone else is making money today. It doesn't work that way. Fuck everyone else. It doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. What are you doing? Because at the end of the day, no one cares. No one cares how much money you make. The only person who cares how much money you make is you, right? Do you think I realistically think anyone on YouTube, anyone in my room gives a fuck if I make $10,000 or I lose $10,000 today? Of course not, because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them. So I don't give a shit about I made, pounding my chest, I made $3,000 today. That doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean anything to anyone but myself. Because when I lose $3,000, So again, have the right mindset. The right mindset. No one cares how much money you make besides yourself. And if you're shooting for some type of goal to where, well, I can go part-time, or I can maybe leave my job, or I can retire, I can do this or whatever. If I just made X amount of dollars, don't focus on how much you're making. It's about being profitable, whether it's $20 or $2,000 or $20,000 in a day. It's about being profitable because you've seen your setup or your edge trigger. You identified what's going on in the market. You used good risk management. And even more importantly, you stopped on the day. So regardless if you're up $50 or $5,000, having that ability to stop trading when you're green because you understand there's going to be another day coming. I'm 36 years old. This market has been around a lot longer than I've been here, and it's going to be here a hell of a lot longer than I'm walking on this fucking earth, right? So why am I in a rush? Why do I have to make $1,000 today? Why do I have to make $10,000 today? Why do you feel like you need to make $500 on this next trade? Why? I don't care if it takes 10 trades to make $500. $500 is $500, right? Unless you need this money to live and you're on your last $1,000 and you have no way to pay for food, rent, mortgage, car payments, and you have to flip this money, I would say you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. But if you're trading, it's either A, because you're learning how to trade with a little bit of money, but you also have maybe a part-time job, maybe you're in college, maybe you're in school, maybe you're doing something, right? You don't need this one particular trade to work, because if not, you can't eat. If that's the case, you got to go out and get a second job. If that's the case, you got to go through all your crap and sell some shit to have a little bit of money. You got to go get a side gig. Go do fucking Uber. I had a guy in my room one time who did Uber, and he fucking drove Uber overnight for 12 fucking hours and made like $350, $400 a fucking day, just so he could do that for the next 60 to 90 days, so he can bring over $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to put in his account, right? Do what you have to do to get capital. Now it's a little bit easier because if you got the skills, you can go out and get one of these prop firms, right? And you can go get funded. Again, check yourself, because a lot of times people say, well, I got a $100,000 account. You don't have shit. You have $3,000 drawdown. That's what you have. So you have a $3,000 account. Okay. So how much can you make on a $3,000 account? Right. I hate when people say, well, you know, if I have a $100,000 account, how much money can I make on that with a prop firm? I don't know. Maybe $2,000. Like, that's smart. That's smart. 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 max. That's what? 1.5 to 3% on a return on your leveraged capital. The problem is that you're not identifying that you're only managing $3,000 worth of drawdown. So you're managing a $3,000 account. So if you're able to make $3,000, technically you doubled your account. You flipped that account. So again, for some of you guys who may be on here who are looking at prop firms as an opportunity, or maybe you guys are trading prop firms as an opportunity because you don't have capital or you don't want to waste your own capital, but you think you have the skill set, I want you to put that into perspective. And I'm just using $3,000 as a drawdown because that's what's typical, 25, 3,000 on these $50,000 accounts. You have to have the right mindset. You have to be realistic. Now, is it possible to go out there and make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000? Of course it's possible, because you're leveraged up to 50,000, right? You can buy 5 contracts. You can buy 10 contracts. Of course you can make 5,000, 10,000. But what are the odds that you're going to stick to your rules long enough to not hit a drawdown to be able to capitalize on that leverage? I hope that makes sense. I'm just saying that if in the beginning, if you can make $2,000 or $3,000, you know, that's a pretty big fucking accomplishment. So go out there and do that for the next 3 months. And while you're doing that on one account, go add 2 or 3 more accounts. Like I have an account here with Apex that's up $1,200 in the last 5 days. And I'm not even pushing it. I'm not pushing it. If I see a trade, I take it. If I get out too early, I don't chase it anymore. For what? For what? Apex only lets you withdraw every pay period, $1,500 anyway. So I'm fucking $300 from putting myself over a little bit of cushion here to be able to get a payout. Right? So if it takes me a month and I make $2,000 on this thing, maybe I take out $700 or something, right? You know, I have an Apex account or a Top Step account. I could do the same thing. That Top Step account, I'm sitting on that thing with $2,900 balance. Just sit on it. It's not going anywhere. $114.65 was the highs on AMD today. Beautiful move. Notice how we pulled back here, guys. Notice how we pulled back on the NQ, right? Notice how we pulled back on the NQ. I want you guys to look at something. So for some of you guys who are not in evolution traders, you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about half the time, and you guys don't know what this chart with all this shit on it is. These are supply and demand zones based on different moving averages and different levels, right? But look at how once we broke the high of day, we ran right into it to a fucking T, this linear regression. And then we stopped, and then we stopped, and then we stopped. Now we're pulling back right into support. So if you're a trader, again, I don't care if you use fucking Fibonacci, supply and demand, you draw fucking boxes on there, you trade this ICT bullshit, this basic fucking form of supply and demand. I don't care what you trade. I don't care what you trade. If you don't know where stocks can go, how do you know where to potentially take profits? How do you know where to potentially bounce stocks? How do you trade blind? People say, put a naked chart on there. Just look at price action. How the fuck do you know where it's going to go? How can you gauge an opportunity of where it's going to go? By looking at fucking price action. Price action's telling me that we got a Momo going right now, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that the fucking market is pushing higher. So those people who use naked charts, nothing against them. However you can trade with an edge, I am all for it 100%. I don't care if you say that you trade the fucking Mickey Mouse Canary strategy. I don't care what strategy it is, as long as you know how to use your strategy. So the point being is that even if we were to take all this crap off, and I'm gonna take all this crap off, and I'm just gonna put a 20 SMA on my chart here on a 5-minute time frame. Okay. So the only way, let's say for example, we break this opening range high here, right? There's two spots. We had the pre-market session, and then we had the opening range candle on the hourly chart. So we can see here that we had two long opportunities, 6:55 my time, which is Pacific Standard, and we had another one closer to 7:25 my time, right? Pacific Standard. So we have two areas. How am I supposed to know that it's going to stop here if I'm just looking at this chart? How am I supposed to know that? Right? How am I supposed to know this? I don't. So if I'm an idiot and I'm in this trade and I'm like, oh, we're pretty good. I'm making money. You have no idea where to sell for profits. And next thing you know, you start giving back profits and it pulls all the way back down. You give away half of your gains. You're wondering what the fuck happened. You break even. If you're going to play a naked chart like this and you're going to use price action, again, don't get technical with what shit's called. But what I'm saying is you need to have areas of supply and demand, right? So if I go to a 1 hour time frame and I start looking at the 1 hour chart, right? And I look at these highs, how did I know I was going to stop here? I had to start toggling over to the left side. If I go all the way back, maybe 2 or 3 weeks here, I can see that I had a little bit of resistance here at this high point, right? Where did we come? We broke that high point and then we're pulling back and I've got more resistance up here, right? So you can start drawing these supply and demand zones. If we come to the 4 hour chart, right, we start looking at these tops. Where did we peak out before? You know, right around this area. Actually, if we go all the way back, you know, to August, we've got some price action here in August that really created a little bit of a troublesome spot before we put on this downwards leg. You know, maybe look at the weekly chart and kind of see where we're at. Look at the daily chart, kind of see where we're at. Okay, cool. So now when you come back to your 5-minute chart and you zoom in here, right? If you zoom in here, we'll look at how we had this pivot point supply up here at 15,366. And then we had another one at 15,383, right? So the point I'm making is on my chart, I didn't have to do this, right? Because I'm fucking lazy, because I've been trading this way for 6 years. I'd rather use my big chart to have my supply and demand zones than to do this every single fucking day. But I don't know if he's still in here, but he's in Evolution Traders. I was telling him, if we get into those 80s, those 90s, that's where we want to sell. That's a linear regression. We have linear regression supply. Now on this bare naked chart, I don't know any of that. But I also know that I have supply here at 366 and 383, right? You see how technical it doesn't matter what fucking strategy you're using. It doesn't matter if you're using my chart, it doesn't matter if you're drawing your own supply and demands on there. It doesn't matter if you're using fucking whatever, right? It doesn't matter what you're using. Technical analysis is technical analysis. It's all price action on the chart. It's just candlesticks. It's just a different way of looking at the candlesticks. So does it really matter what strategy you're using? No. You have to find a strategy that aligns with you and your emotions. And that's easy for you, right? I trade one way. Does that mean that my way is better than anyone else's? Of course fucking not. Because if you're making fucking money, it doesn't really matter, right? So again, if we were to get in on this candle at 725 over the break of the 320s, right? Because wasn't that the price? If you guys have been on this stream for longer than an hour, you guys, or an hour and a half, you guys understand that 320s continuation, right? We talked about it enough. 320s continuation, where should I potentially be selling half size, right? Let's say I took 2 contracts. We'll just use 2 contracts. If I took 2 contracts, I should probably be selling in the 66s. No? Yes, right? Maybe, right? Because I have an area of previous resistance. If I break through the 60s, I should probably be selling in the 80s, right? Right. Look at where we're stopping at. Oh, we went to 95. I don't give a shit. You should have sold in the 60s. You should have sold in the 80s. If you have a bare naked chart and you're just doing your own supply and demand. Every strategy, Fibonacci's, this, that, and the other, is a form of supply and demand. To sum it up for you guys, it's just, where are we going to have an emotional reaction to where price gravitates towards? Well, we got a lot of liquidity sitting up here because buyers are stepping in at this level. Yeah, you know why buyers are stepping in at this level? Because fucking sellers are in pain. Do you know why sellers are stepping into this area? Because buyers are taking profits and they're seeing if they can benefit on the downside. That's it. It's a marketplace. Let's get to this question. What did you say? Trade the prop firms accounts with a 5-minute strat. Yeah, I use a 5-minute. I also use a 2-minute as well. I've been using the 2-minute this week. But yeah, 5-minute, 2-minute, and then I'll kind of correlate that with where is my daily chart kind of looking and where is my first opening range hour candle. Prop firms that I prefer, for futures, Top Step's really good. I like Top Step because there's no trailing intraday drawdown, right? So let's say I go up 3,000 today and my drawdown before they stop me trading on the day is $1,000 on a 50K account. I can technically lose my 3,000 plus 1,000 and then I get stopped out. Versus on Apex, that account would be blown. So why do I like Apex? I like Apex because they have cheap fucking deals, right? So like right now, I think today's like the last day you can get a 50K account for like $16. You can get a 100K account for like $20, right? Only thing I don't like about them is that intraday trailing drawdown. How do you navigate that? You treat Apex as a scalp account, right? Market in, market out, and you want to always, like for example, if we were trading an Apex account right now, and let's say we were in on the 320 break and we went all the way to 95s, okay? That's 75 points. What I want to do is when price action starts to come down, I'm gonna sell, right? Because of if I lose another 40 points, well, that unrealized gains that I had from way up here in the 95s all the way down to my support here at the 40s, that's going to count against me. So I'm treating Apex as a scalp account, meaning I get in, I'm going to sell at the next level of supply 9 times out of 10. I'm going to get in, I'm going to sell at the next level of supply 9 times out of 10. And then I'll look for a new setup. If this was Apex, we can just let this thing run, right? We can just let it run. Payouts are pretty much the same, right? With Apex, you can only take 2 payouts a month, around $1,500. Again, keep in mind your drawdown, because the more you take out, let's say you make $1,500 and take it all out, you probably can only make 1 trade before you blow the account. So, but you can also stack up 20 accounts on Apex. So that would be my goal, right? I'm on a mission here to get at least another 3 or 4 accounts before the end of the year. Top Step lets you have 3 accounts, and you can take out 50% of your profits. So let's say you make $5,000, you can take out 2,500 until you get moved over to the live trading, and that's kind of like a pick and choose, right? That's a pick and choose who they bring over into live funding versus the express funding. Again, we can talk about that kind of stuff when you guys get there, but
Here, I'm gonna jump off for the day, guys, but I'll catch you tomorrow.
all right, buddy. Good trading today, man.
Thank you.
We got someone posting gains here. Oh yeah. Shifting gears, he just logged off, but he had a fantastic trade on the NQ. He got in the 80s, right? The 280s, and he sold all the way in the 90s. So fantastic trade there, trading small size, but he's up about $280. And I think he was only trading 1-2 micro contracts. So again, guys, for those of you guys who say that you can't, you got to trade big size to make good money. I mean, how many hours at $25 an hour does it take to work to make $280, right? Full days of work in about an hour. And he locked in 310 on the option side of things. So that's a $500 day, guys. $500 day that my man Shifting Gears from Evolution Traders just made today, guys. And no stress, right? There's no stress. That's the main thing. The more stressed you are, the more pressed to make money, the harder it is to trade. The harder it is to trade. Do not rush the process, right? Do not rush the process. The first thing I would tell anyone right now is, do you have a strategy or some type of edge that you can follow? Have you back tested it? Okay, those are the first 2 questions. Do you have an edge? Do you have a strategy? Edge, strategy, same thing. So do you have a strategy, and does it have some trading rules in it? Okay, yes. Next is, have you back tested it? Meaning, what's the true range? Like when it does work, how much does it normally go? If it normally fails, how much do you normally lose? A lot of you guys don't even know that, right? So for me, I trade the NQ. If my strategy misses, I'm going to lose 20 to 35 points. Are you okay with losing 20 to 35 points? If your answer is no, that's because you're trading too much size. I only trade a couple micros at a time. Like yesterday, I traded a couple micros all fucking day. I only traded 1 mini for like $200 in gains, but I made $800 yesterday on the prop, trading a couple micros at a time and 1 mini here and there on momentum when it was setting up my strategy. So again, it doesn't matter what you're playing. The only reason why I trade more size is because I want to be in the moves. I want to see what's going on. I don't want to have to be right the first 5 seconds after I get into the trade. And if I'm wrong on the first 5 seconds after I get into the trade, I got to get out because my drawdown's too much, right? So, so with that being said, do you understand your strategy? Have you back tested it? What's the average range, right? If you win, how much should you be looking to take profits off of? That'll help you with your take profits. And when it loses, do you have a hard stop loss, like a max pain? Okay. Once you do that, have you taken at least 20, 40 trades following that edge and using those same parameters to a T? Or are you looking for, like right now, you know what's going on right now with people? Market's pushing higher. Should I get in here? Market might bounce from here. Maybe I should look for a long position here. That's what people are doing now. Where should I let the market pull back so I can try to bounce this? The move is fucking gone. It's fucking gone. Okay? The move is gone. Ran up 100 points without a freaking blink of an eye, guys. Without a blink of an eye. If you missed it, oh well. Right? Oh well. Many of you guys can't live with the fact that you missed the move. Why? The market's going to be open tomorrow. I'm not saying you can't take a trade today, but I mean, can we let the market digest a little bit here? But anyways, you know, those are some questions that you need to ask yourself. How well do you understand your strategy? How much is a typical move? You know, what's your typical loss going to be? What's your drawdown? What's your account size? How many trades would you have to lose in a row? Do you know that for my strategy, if I play one micro contract, I would have to lose 40 consecutive trades in a row to blow up a prop firm account? 40. Who in their right mind is going to lose 40 trades in a row? It's not possible. Now again, knock on wood. But I'm saying, like 40 trades in a row, guys, who's going to lose 40 trades in a row? That's risking 3%. Risking 3% on one micro with a $50,000 prop firm account. You'd have to lose 40 trades in a row to blow it up. But that also means you're not going to be making $1,000 a day, right? You're going to make $75. You're going to make $100. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be getting a coffee here in a little bit. My moves on the day are pretty much done. On the option side, future side, you know, I would have liked to catch a little bit more of the move, but hey, you know, that is what it is, right? And here's also something that I want to like let you guys know too as well. I was in on the 320 break, right? The 320 break. And so if I put this line, let me put this line. I was in on this break here, right? So as it started to break and it went up 25 points, 26 points, I sold. So I'm selling in here because that's the type of trader that I am, right? At least on the future side, I'm looking to for a specific level. I'm going to get in and I want to take my 20 points, 25 points. Now, yes, I missed out on another 60 points here. That's not my money because that's not the trader that I am, right? That's not the trader that I am. So it doesn't mean that I missed out on this money. It just means that I followed my strategy correctly and this is what I'm looking for. Because I know that I can do this take profit, this entry more times than I'll be able to catch one of these all day plays, right? So what I'm saying is that if I could just repeat this over and over and over and over again, I'm happy. It keeps my stress levels down. It keeps me sane, right? Keeps my anxiety levels in check because I'm not fucking constantly looking at my phone or the charts that allow me to get off the screens and do what I need to do without having to think about my trade. But again, other people are different. Some people want the bigger moves, so that's completely fine as well. If that's what they're looking for, then as long as you technically don't have a reason to take it out, you technically hold a trade. But the point I'm making is that if you don't understand even what you're doing, and you're just like, well, I only took 25 points, but it ran 80. Well, what were you looking for? Were you looking for the all-day move into top supply? Then yeah, you sold way too early, right? You sold way too early. Because if you go back to the 5-minute time frame, look at the 5-minute time frame on my big chart. If my entry is here, right? My entry is here, and I sold here, what would be considered my top area of supply? It's up here. But I'm not that type of trader on the future side of things. On the option side of things, yes, I am. Because I've traded options for almost double the time that I've traded futures. I'm familiar with the stocks that I trade on the option side of things. I'm familiar with their moves. I'm familiar with the volatility. I'm familiar with what I like to get out of those options contracts. So yeah, in this particular situation, if this was an options chart, I would for sure sell half size here, and then I hold those runners. I hold those runners into the top area of supply. Now, I'm working on that for futures as well. But again, going back to what I said 5 minutes ago about the Apex versus the Top Step, today I was trading on Apex accounts. Again, I don't like that trailing drawdown, so like I just treat it as a scalp account, and I just do it over and over and over. But all those things, you have to understand what you're looking at, what you're trying to accomplish. You know, NASDAQ looks like it wants to put in a new fucking high here. If it does start to get over 96s, I mean, it's got some more daylight ahead. So, you know, it is what it is. But
Order submitted.
you know, so just understand what type of trader you are, right? Understand what type of trader you are.
Order submitted.
But if you guys like these type of live streams, you guys enjoy this type of real technical analysis, make sure you guys give me a like on this stream. Also, I still have one spot left to join Evolution Traders. I started off with 3 this week. I have 2 people that signed up this week. After 3, I'm going to double the price. And the only reason why I'm going to double the price is because what I'm learning with all of you guys out there is that you guys think that there's a magic strategy or some type of magic potion that's going to just make you profitable. You don't put in the work. You don't chart. You don't backtest on the weekends. You don't look at the prior day's highs and lows before coming into the market. You don't want to set up your charts the way that I set them up, but you want to trade with me. If you don't know what I'm looking at, how can you trade like me? You can't take a signal from me, from anyone else. Oh, well, that person's long. Oh, well, those people are short. If you don't know what they're looking at, you don't know their account size, you don't know nothing, right? There's people that don't put in the work, that don't want to learn. You constantly keep over leveraging yourself, right? And I ask, why are you over leveraging yourself? Why are you trading too big a size? Well, because I took a big loss and I wanted to make it back. That's not the smart thing to do. Most people don't want to do what everyone else is doing. If 95% of traders fail, why the hell are you going to continue to do the same mistakes? You are in the 95%. You, personally, I'm talking to you, are personally in the 95% of traders who are failing. So are you going to continue to do the same things that are causing you to fail? Or are you going to do things that the 5% of people don't do? Do you think that I want to sit here on the sidelines and watch this go 60 more points when I was already in the move? Of course I don't. Of course I wanted a bigger piece of that pie. But I only got one setup today. It was over 15,320. So how can I justify taking another position if I haven't got another setup? And that's the problem. What do 95% of people do? Oh, well, I only took a little bit of money on this trade, but it's still going, so I can jump in again. And you happen to jump in on the candle that's pulling back and you get stopped out. That's what happens. So again, if you guys want to start learning, because again, I can teach anyone how to read price. I can teach anyone a strategy. I can teach anyone how to read charts. I can teach a fucking 10-year-old. Hey, when this does this, can you click buy? When this does this, can you click sell? I can teach anyone. What people need work on is emotions. What are you going to do if the trade goes against you? I never thought about it. Well, I might only lose this much. Do you know how much you're going to lose? And are you okay with losing that dollar amount? And if you do lose that dollar amount, how many times can you lose before your account is gone? That's what we have to work with. What are you going to do when you hit your profit target and it's still going? Or what are you going to do when you take a scalp and it's still going? Like, for example, in this particular situation, what are most of you guys doing in this situation? Still trying to take scalps on every new high. Oh, well, there's a new high if they break. There's only one break. The breakout was at 320. There's only one. This is just all continuation. Look at each candlestick as a story higher on a skyscraper, right? So if this is our first story, I want to jump out of the first story because what's going to happen? Probably nothing. I might sprain my ankle a little bit jumping out of top of the story. Here's a second story, third story, fourth story, fifth story, sixth story, seventh story. Do I want to jump out of a 7th story building? Do I want to jump out of a fucking 12th story building? No. I'm going to break my freaking neck. Right? But most of you guys, well, there's a new high of day. Guess what happens? You take this new high of day, pulls back on you 20 points, you get stopped out. Then you start complaining. You know? So when you trades around, when you don't need to be forcing trades around, okay? So that's what people need work on. That's what I try to focus on. That's why I have an open calendar where you can schedule a 30-minute or a 1-hour call. We can do coaching. We can go over your trades. We can go over my trades. We can go over back testing. We can go over mindset. We can do all of this stuff, right? Again, most people don't want to invest in themselves. They want to look around YouTube, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, whether you guys found me on YouTube just because I popped up randomly, or you guys maybe follow me or something like that, the more videos and the more people you guys watch on this fucking social media, the more chances, the longer it's going to take for you to be profitable. Because everyone has a different way of looking at the markets. Everyone has a different strategy. Everyone has different position sizing. So truthfully speaking, the more content you're observing, once you understand your strategy, that's it, guys. It's all time to execute, right? It's time to execute. Once you have something that you kind of like, a system that you kind of like, it's time to execute and figure out what you're doing right and wrong in that execution. It's not about, well, shit, well, this person said to look at the markets and charts this way, and I took a trade that way and I lost. Maybe I should find another indicator. Maybe I should see how this other person trades. It's not that. It's you. You did something wrong. Now, does the market always work out just because you have a strategy? Of course not. But you don't want to understand that and deal with that. So that's what happens. So if you guys want to join the room, I think we got about 75 traders in there. We got about 10 or 15 that I would say that are active. I mean, active as in a sense where they are trading every day off the open. They're trading every day off the open. Then you have probably another 50% of those people who come in a couple times a week when they don't have work, but it's very focused. It's not just random shit being thrown out there all the time. We're looking to make money together. We're looking to learn together. We're looking for more eyes on the charts. If you see something that I don't see, you could potentially help me make me money. If I see something that you're not seeing, but you understand what I'm looking at, I can potentially help you make money. That's how a team works. It's a team. Right? So if you guys are interested, that link is down in the description box below. Remember, I'm going to raise the price by double. I have one spot left. It's first come, first serve basis, just due to the fact that some people keep, my calendar gets booked, and sometimes I have like 4 calls and they last like an hour long. I only have so many hours in the day to do calls and coaching, but I'll see all of you guys on the inside do that side to join. For the rest of you guys, once that next person joins, these live streams on YouTube will not be on YouTube. They're just for the room. The only reason I'm doing this here is just to kind of fill out that room and get going on the team, especially as we get into this fourth quarter here, because it's time to make some money here in the fourth quarter, and I don't have time to be messing around with people who don't want to make money. But I'll see you guys all in the next one. Stay safe. If you're green, stay profitable. If you're red, there's always another day.